Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Deep Thoughts. And today we are talking about Ahiru no Sora, Episode 3, Momoharu's Wings. Before we get into it though, I do want to remind you all that if you would like to have your name shouted out in next week's Ahiru no Sora video, then be sure to share this video around on the internet and then tag me at JoJo Talks Too Much over on Twitter, and I will be sure to shout your name out in next week's video. Now then, with that said, I would like to go ahead and start this week's video by letting you all know that Momoharu continues to be my favorite character. Momoharu is far and away the MVP of this show, as far as I'm concerned. The dude can do no wrong by me. I just think he's fantastic. I like his story of zero to still zero to eventual hero. Watching him slowly come to grips with the fact that he still likes basketball and still wants to play basketball is almost like heartwarming, like knowing that all it took was to see Sora like constantly trying like 1,000 shots every single day, 7,000 per week, and how many, and then like I love the fact that even I'm like, I don't know how many is after that, but even Momoharu is just like, so that means in a year he makes it's too much math. And I was like, yeah, I love this character. As soon as he said that, I was like, yep, me and you both, Momoharu, that's too much math. I don't know. I don't know. I stopped taking math in grade 11. It's interesting, too, because Sora is such a spark of light in this kid's world, right? Momoharu's whole world was flipped upside down the instant he met Sora. He was so against basketball, actively hating it. And then by the time this kid shows up, who is basically what would happen if his own spirit didn't break, and it reignited that fire in him. And I really, there's something about the stoic badass characters that I just love to pieces. And Momoharu strikes me as sort of like he's thinking about a lot of things even if he doesn't outwardly say them. He does try at one point, but Sora just doesn't hear him because his ears are ringing too loud. But we'll get to it. And I don't know. There's just, as a character, he's just fun to watch on screen, and I don't know, I'm a sucker for the underdog, especially one that has a tragic past, and his relationship with Sora is part of the reason why I like him so much, especially during that fight scene. The fight scene in particular, even though we don't get to see it, it's more of just like a beatdown that we don't really get to see on screen, is interesting, right? Because when Sora stumbles upon him, Sora and Chiaki are sort of like watching from afar as Momoharu tries to sink all these shots. And the dude just can't make any of these shots. And I remember sitting there thinking like, okay, so he can't make shots, that's fine, but maybe he's great with assists. Maybe he can jump real high. Maybe he's got a great dunk. And of course, lo and behold, he has a great dunk. You can tell that I really don't know what much of the terms are other than the fact that I used to play it back in grade school. But yeah, like the kid can dunk. So I was like, okay, well then, yeah, man, that's where your power lies. You got to play to your strengths. And I think Momoharu just needs that companion who's able to push him further and further and help him improve in the areas where he needs improving, but also sharpen where he's very sharp, and that being his dunk. Dude's got mad hops, so he should be dunking more often. He just needs to be able to figure out where the dang basket is, because he somehow even managed to miss a dunk. Now, I'm not saying dunking's easy, but I'm saying that if you're real tall and you miss a dunk, I'm going to have words for you. But apparently so did the rest of that other high school, because they also had words for Momoharu, and they weren't very kind. Apparently these are the kids, the rest of the squad, rather, of the kids that they beat down last week. And these kids, man, these are the exact kinds of kids that I would see come bug other people from my school. Like, this is like a thing, right? Like other kids coming to pick on some other kid from a different school. And it's like, bro, if you have to assemble a squad to take down one guy, you and your school are punks. You aren't worth the air you are breathing if you need an entire squad of people to take down one guy, especially when you bring bats. These people are nothing but fodder, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And Momoharu just basically like is like willing to ignore these kids until they badmouth him, saying that he's the effing worst at basketball, which they straight up like say it. And I was like, dang. But Momoharu, that's the instant that he takes issue with it, and he grabs the main dude and then he gets hit from behind, I think with a bat again, and that dude falls, and then he gets beat up, and then that dude's gonna break Momoharu's legs, apparently. That's what he's threatening to do anyway. And then my boy Sora whips the basketball so it knocks the bat out of the man's hand, which, by the way, like, great precision. But what I really appreciated about this scene is that we once again see Sora not only like standing up for himself in a fight and then losing, but also standing up for Momoharu and saying like, why would you ever berate somebody who's trying their hardest? And Sora's a good lad, because that's what I'm thinking. Like, bro, you lot suck. These kids are out here trying to actually do something with their lives. When you're walking around with metal bats, starting fights with people who ain't exactly looking for a fight, go do your homework. What are you doing? Do your homework. Go make something of your life is what I'm trying to say. But no, apparently they want to beat down my boy Sora and my boy Momoharu and challenge them to a basketball match so that they can make them the laughingstock of the basketball scene, or the high school basketball scene. So it's like, bro, what are these kids doing with their lives? Why they gotta pick on my boys like that? You could tell that I'm already protective of my boys, but why you gotta pick on my boys like that? Don't make me come after you. I know you're fictional, but I'll jump through the screen. I'll do it. Don't think I won't. The aftermath of this, though, does lead into the other thing that I would like to talk about, and that is that, dang it, why can't I go through a single sports anime? Just once. I want to get through a single sports anime without shipping somebody. Why does this always happen? And like, look, I know. I'm sorry. I'm shipping trash. You think that I would grow out of it, but I never have. I don't know what the heck is wrong with me, but yes, I have another ship, and yes, it's exactly who you think it is. I'm shipping Momoharu and Sora. I know, but like, their personalities bounce off each other brilliantly. Seeing Sora like reach out to Momoharu and want him to continue to improve and want to see him do better and get better and genuinely be impressed with his skill set, and having Momoharu respond in kind, like being like amazed that this kid can make 1,000 shots per day, and having that reignite the passion for basketball in his heart. And just knowing that like he genuinely cares about this kid after such a short amount of time, and that Sora actually cares about Momoharu again after such a short amount of time. It's not like they're best friends or anything, but you can see that relationship forming. And I don't know, it's just friggin' sweet. Now, I don't know if I ship it like a romance or if I ship it like a bromance, but I know that I'm here for it either way. I friggin' love these two. They are making the show for me right now. They are my two favorite characters. They're my favorite characters to see on screen. Anytime they're on screen, especially when they're together, it's a great time. Like, without fail. I already shipped these two. I'm sorry. I know. I'm shipping trash. You may as well call me FedEx, because I ship it everywhere, anywhere, anytime, anywhere. I don't know if FedEx actually ships things anytime, anywhere, but you know. That's the thing. Anyway, moving on. The Momoharu Sora dynamic, the rock and sock connection that is Momoharu and Sora, eventually leads to them accepting the challenge from the other school, which means that they're gonna have to get the other boys to join the squad, but they don't feel like it. Essentially, the other boys, the trio of dudes who hang out with Momoharu, they're not athletes. They're not basketball players. They know next to nothing about basketball to begin with, and they really don't know what the heck they're doing. And they just want to be friends with Momoharu. Like, that is their boy. They just want to hang out with their boy. And they're just going along with this because they want to hang out with their boy, but they also don't want to embarrass themselves in front of the girls. The girls' basketball team practices with them. They'd rather not embarrass themselves, so of course they decide to walk away. I don't blame them, but at the same time, I'm like, can we just have the team form? I can't believe it's episode 3. We've only got 2 members. It's okay though. It's okay, because this trio, I want to see them fleshed out individually, but as a trio, I do think that they work. I think that they're fun. And I loved the fact that they said, like, okay, you want us to join your team? You want us to embarrass ourselves in front of those cute girls? Then here's the deal. Here's the deal. You play in your boxers, and then maybe we'll come back. And they're saying that to basically say, like, don't bug us, we're not gonna play, because they never guessed that he would do this. Not only does Sora immediately do whatever it takes to get them to join the team at all costs, but he actually one-ups them, and instead of playing in his boxers, straight up plays naked, which was not necessary. Like, even when I saw that, I'm like, they said boxers, my guy, what are you doing? And like, everyone in that room is freaking out, and and Madoka is blushing, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then later, the trio's like eating snacks, like lamenting the fact that they're gonna have to play. They call my boy small. Oh no. Oh my god. That actually was, I think, the hardest I laughed all season. And it's not even from a comedy series. That was a brilliant... I don't know why that made me laugh so hard, but it did. Which actually brings me to my next point. This show is a lot more, like, crude and vulgar and grittier than you would expect from a sports series. In even just an anime series in general in the late teens. Like, it's not afraid to swear. Not afraid to have some crass jokes and a bit of, like, you know, like fan service here and there. But it's not even fan service. It's more just the characters being pervy. So, and it's interesting to see because you don't really get much fan service, just the pervy nature of the characters. Or you also get, like, the gritty nature of, like, actual fighting. Like, you don't see it. It's not violence for the sake of, like, gorehounds or anything. It's just violence for the sake of furthering the story. Which, I gotta say, I think the show does phenomenally well. All of the swearing, any of the perviness, any of the violence, it all serves the plot and serves the characters, and I'm genuinely surprised by that. It's not excessive, it's not for the sake of shocking you, because it's not even that violent, it's not even that pervy, and it's not even that, like, the swearing is not even that crude. It's, again, all done for the sake of making these characters feel a little bit more raw and real, and I actually really respect that. But is it the most original show ever? Well, no. The whole setup for this upcoming arc against this other team, or like basically this whole arc just setting up the team, it is very sports anime, but you don't really come to sports anime for like shocking new twists on the sports anime format. You kind of just come to see what each sports series brings to the table. Each sports series has a different sport, but also B, a different style, a different take, and that's kind of what you're getting from Ahiru no Sora. It does bring you a new flavor that you maybe haven't seen before. Sure, this whole other team is basically run like a military camp, which we've seen other teams like that in other sports anime, and sure, the whole height versus skill thing has been very played out from another series that I'm not going to mention because I'm sure you guys are sick of me comparing the two, even though this came out before that, which I found out later, which is interesting. I'm not even going to say what it is, you know what it is. But it's... I do think that it does enough different, and it does have moments of pretty dope animation when they're playing on the court. There is moments where you see Sora do these like crossovers and like throwing the basketball behind his back and like flipping around and stuff like that. It's cool. It's animated decently well. Some of the art, again, it's an acquired taste. I'm getting used to it. I kind of dig it at this point, but I can see why it would put people off. But I do think the show has something to offer, and I wish more people were talking about it. With that said, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and give this week's episode a solid rank of B. It continues to be a very good time and a very good show. I need you to go check it out. On that note, everybody, that just about wraps everything up. But before we go, as always, I want to give a big shout out to the good folks over on Patreon, namely those in the Earl Grey tier. Calvin Atkinson, Crowbar of Irony, Dominic, Urza, Ginkotaku, No For Nothing, Maria Teresa, Mirth Mouser, Omner Garamond, Cell, Shadow Creative, Sipco Games, Somastan, Steven, Tristan, and Verdon. Thank you all so much for your continued support over on Patreon, and hey, if you too would like to join the T Squadron, then by all means go ahead and check out that first link in the description to check out our Patreon page, see all the cool rewards you can get for as little as $1 a month, and get access to our Patreon exclusive Discord. But on that note, everybody, that's going to be a video, so I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, you've probably been on the internet long enough to know what to do already, so I ain't going to tell you, but I will say that it is appreciated, and if you are feeling stressed out today, then you go have yourself a warm cup of tea, and I will talk to you all again real soon.